Frank's not live either.
You see this?
Yes, your map.
I'm going to show this is where OCG is. This is a sample of responses we received off our website.
Nice.
This is a zoom in to show how it's spread out, and we have to figure out where we're building first. And this is an example where there's so many all along here that this is a project that we're putting in our engineering hopper.
Wow.
So let's just give you guys a little bit of a preview.
That's impressive.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna bounce out and come back again. I don't know why this is not working.
But then if you want, sometime during it, I could say, well, here's an example of OCG, and I could do a speed test. All depends what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Still can't see you, Frank.
Yeah, I know. And yet it says that it's accessing my camera.
I think Optimum got you.
Yeah.
I don't have Optimum anymore. You know that.
No.
They put that flyer on the door. It's blocking his camera.
Do. Yeah.
Oh, great. Awesome. Now we can start running ads.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Cool. We should get started soon so we can give them some content.
Yeah, we should be timely.
Okay, so I'll go without the camera until I can figure out what's going on.
TV on.
Okay. Try unplugging and replugging. Maybe sometimes that does it.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So for the moment, I'll just welcome everybody to our little presentation here. This is the general meeting of the Fair Internet Coalition. And thank you, everybody who's tuning in over YouTube or wherever else we happen to be broadcasting. At the moment, I am not able to engage my camera for reasons I don't know. So I will be speaking in this form for now, but you can see everybody else, and I'll get to who everybody is in a minute. My name is Frank Cantor. I'm the Administrative Director of FIC and actually one of the founders of FIC, which was created probably a little bit more than 2 years ago by now, in an effort to bring more and actually at least some competition to areas of the country that are only served currently by one internet service provider. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the people that are on your screen right now. From what I can see, from left to right, Kit Cowan is on the left of my screen. She is the board treasurer and also somebody who's been a sustained member for quite a while. And then in the top middle of my screen, I have Jacob Kraniak, who is the Jacob of all trades. He is the deputy director of FIC and the general guru of all things technical. And then to my upper right is Brad. I do not know how to pronounce your last name, Brad. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Ickes.
Okay, so Brad is we've known him for quite some time, but it's only recently that he's been introduced to the general membership and everybody else, and there's a reason for that, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes. Just to my left, I have Alec Foster, who's actually coming to us live from California, I believe the San Francisco area. And Alec is also a board member who's engaged in basically a number of different things, working, trying to get us as much exposure as we can. So with that, just turn this back on here. All right, let's move on. Jacob, you wanna pick up from there, please? Hallelujah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll move on. I'm assuming that that everybody can hear me. If there's a technical issue with that, let Jacob know. I know he's trying to figure out why he cannot be heard. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce Brad Ickes. He is the owner and chief guru over at OCG, and they are essentially a fiber company that is that's probably a little bit smaller than the likes of Verizon and Optimum, but they're doing big things with what they have, and some of those big things include coming into areas that are completely underrepresented by any form of competition as we know it. So Brad is getting set to roll out services in the areas where Jake and I are currently located, and in other areas. And I know that there's going to be some conversation to the extent that there may be people who are listening to this coverage in the community that I live in, and you know who you are. To the extent that you are here, you're going to want to listen very closely to what he has to say. Likewise, those people who are living or resident in the community where Jacob lives, and you know who you are, you're going to want to listen equally as well. And without any further ado, Brad, you want to explain a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and what's happening?
Great. So thank you for introducing me. I'm Brad Ickes. I'm the president of Optimum Communications Group, OCG Com. And basically my company started some time ago, and we primarily built fiber optic routes for government and for long haul backhaul for companies like AT&T and others out there. OCG's been around for some time, and like I said, primarily we did business building the network behind the networks and delivering the high-speed backbones that made everything run. Since we've built so much fiber, especially in the Nashville Suffolk areas, it's gotten to the point where just from seeing it myself, from hearing it from other people, OCG's rolling out internet services to the areas around its existing network. And it's all basically in phases depending on the demand. So the difference between OCG and let's say some of the other providers, OCG owns its own network. So it has its own physical cable, has its own physical equipment. It doesn't rely on using fiber optic or any kind of connections from a Verizon or from an Optimum or an Altice or anyone like that. So just everyone understands this isn't someone else's service that has a different label or an OCG label slapped on it. That's not what this is. This is a very good, high quality, non-oversubscribed internet service that we deliver to the likes of firehouses. We deliver to Ridge Firehouse. We do Middle Island Firehouse. We do a number of different entities out there that needed a good quality service to run their ambulance calls, to run fire calls, to run other things over. And that's really what my company does. There's a number of different things that we're putting out there. I have some little displays here that I'm going to show you in a minute and give you a little bit of overview of what my company is doing and where we are and what the plans are, so everyone can sort of understand. So I'm going to share my screen now, and first thing I want to show you is the network we have that's in the Suffolk County area. So this map here that I'm showing you is basically the map of the network that we presently have built that's out in Suffolk County. The colors are just internal engineering demarcation type references, but what you see is primarily our backbones that go out there. And we service, like I said, the government entities out there. We connect to the cables that go overseas. So this is a network that's built here for reliability. What we're doing out here on this network is, you'll see here on the next screen, we are basically looking to deliver local services to both small business and residential. We can deliver internet, we can deliver phone if they wanted it, but primarily internet is what we're pushing. And this map I'm showing you right here is just the map of the responses we received on our website after FIC got involved and made it public out there of what we're trying to do, how we're trying to help the people that are out here in Suffolk County. So as you can see, all those blue little pointers there are people who went onto OCG's website. That's www.ocgcom.com. They filled out the quick little questionnaire, and once they do that, that information is put into our system, and then we have them plotted. And once there's enough in an area, we begin our design process. So just to show you on the next slide, there's a zoom in. The blue line that you see there is one of the spurs that OCG has built. And this line goes up and it connects to OCG's Long Island office up here in Port Jeff. And these are all the people in the area that have basically put out there that they're interested in internet services. So what we're doing is we're looking at where everyone is, designing how we could capture as many possible. But to start along this blue line that you see here, we are basically going to be delivering service to whoever's closest. And then, like I said before, the rest of our network, such as the purple down below, as part of our backbone, then that's the next step. And if I go back to the original map, you'll see all these colors, the green, the blue, whoever's along there is number one because it's easiest to get to. And the reason it's easiest to get to is for us to extend from our backbone further than from the pole to a house. We have to put in a number of different requests, both to PSCG, Verizon, to use their poles. We have to put in sometimes requests to the town of Brookhaven Highway Department for permission to put a pedestal box or some equipment out there that we can use to service everyone. And the permits we have in the town, we've been waiting on the permit or the pole request for the other providers. We're basically going to submit them based on the response and the demand. So this next slide, I just want to show you. This is what we received from Rocky Point area, and this came off of the FIC information that was put out there. And when you look at the amount of households that put in a request, it makes this very much more economically feasible for OCG to build up here and to reach the area where you have so much demand. Because OCG is a smaller company, it doesn't have deep pockets like a Verizon or an Altice or an Optimum. But what we're looking to do is bring service to areas as the demand dictates, and then drop off this high quality service. So this is basically what we're doing as far as, Rocky Point. A lot of people responded, a lot of positive things about wanting the good quality internet. So that's one of the locations we're building to. Now what we're doing, so that everyone understands exactly what we're doing compared to the other companies, is we are delivering this type of device. So this is just a zoom in. This is a Wi-Fi 6 router.
It looks like you're not sharing. Did you share the screen?
Let's see. Oh, let me make sure that opened up. Okay, let's do this.
There you are.
Okay, so this particular.
Well, now we have your email.
Okay, these two devices here are basically.
We're looking at your email.
There's no devices. We just see your email.
I see that. Okay. Don't email anybody here. let's just get this working here.
It looks like we have comments in the chat. They can hear me now, so my audio is fixed. Good.
Okay, so let's try it this way. You can see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So just so everyone understands, this is typically what we install. What this is on the left is a converter. It takes the fiber input and it converts it into an RJ45 output. And then we plug it into this white box here, which is basically a Wi-Fi 6 router. So what this allows us to do is two things. It allows us to install a device, be able to see the device, while at the same time it gives the customer another Gigi port to come out to connect to wherever else they have in their house. And at the same time, this provides Wi-Fi 6. Now there's a couple versions of this. If someone wanted to put the extenders from this around the house, we have them available. But initially, this is what we install. We install this device and that converter. So that's all that really gets installed in the house. It keeps things pretty simple.
And Brad, you can connect that to, if you have an existing router, like a Wi-Fi router, Netgear, you can plug it into that and it'll work, no problem?
Correct. Out of this secondary port that's on here, you can plug that into whatever you like. What this device does is it gives us an address so that we can see you and we can provide you the service, we can monitor it. So if your house goes down, we're gonna know. We're gonna know ahead of time. That's really what this does. It gives us a lot of telemetry. And this device comes with a open source app that you can put on your phone. So you can basically look at your phone, see what your internet speed is coming in. You can see what you have going on in your house. So it's a really great little device that you can use also with your phone. And it's very simple. And this, what you see here, is included with the installation when we put this in. So OCG primarily is looking to drop these things off into people's homes or small business. There's no installation charge unless it's over like 200 plus feet from a pole or if it's some kind of special build. But ideally, the normal household, there's no installation charge when we put these two devices in and your internet's up and running. I think
Brad, what's the relative size of those two devices?
They look pretty small, like yay big.
Yeah, this little device here, the black device, is about the size of a pack of cigarettes. And then the other device here is about maybe about 4 inches by 4 inches. Very small. You can stick it on your desk. You can stick it on top of your existing devices. You can basically put this where you like, because it doesn't have to be right next to our converter, as long as we have a Cat5 cable that reaches.
Gotcha. Let me go up to another question that came up. All the information that you were showing a minute ago, because I know people are going to ask this question. What is that updated to? What's the date of the most recent date of that map that you had up?
That's updated daily. So as anyone comes and puts a request in on our website, it's updated daily. Because we want looking to see real time where everyone is, so we can plan out our different builds.
And
I think it would be a really good idea if you could explain the difference to everybody between what they have with Optimum and Verizon, which typically includes cable TV and phone and everything. Can you explain how your service and system is different? Because folks will have to learn to stream, and there is a certain difference between how those work. Can you explain that?
Sure. So basically, OCG's internet device or internet service is basically provided as a raw internet connection. So what that means is it's not filtered, it's not oversubscribed, which means a whole bunch of people are sharing the same uplink. It's not something where we're providing TV service. But what we do, and the way the world's going and the way things are today, is if you have a quality internet service, then you can put anything you want on. So streaming, for example, it's very convenient having a box at your house and a remote that you can hit buttons and you can change the channels. I mean, I find that 90% of the channels that are on the box that I have are a waste of my time, a waste of my money. So if you stream, what you're doing is you're either subscribing, like if you have Netflix today, you're streaming. If you get a particular news service and connect them over your internet connection, you're streaming. So the way it's going is you're not going to have that set-top box anymore and be able to flip the channels. Your smart TV is going to do everything. And I see down the road, I see where you're going to use your phone as a remote, or you could have something else as a remote. Some instances you can use your phone and basically make that drop over to the TV, but you still need a good quality connection, whether it's over your cellular, which is probably expensive for data rates, or if it's over a good high quality internet connection. So, that being said, if someone's not sure, they're used to having the set-top box. If they're using Netflix and using some of those things, they've already started streaming. And it basically, over time, I see this getting simpler from the different streaming services that are out there.
So,
as far as the phone goes, a lot of households, from what we see, have switched over to their cell phone because they don't want to pay all the charges for having a phone hanging on the wall that they don't use.
right.
That's really up to the particular customer. As you know, there's a lot of charges associated with having the hard line. There's a lot of different taxes and fees. At this point, there's no tax on internet. So if you basically only had an internet connection delivered to your house, there's no taxes. So it really depends what you're doing. So if you stream and you run everything over your internet connection, you can avoid that. At the same time, you don't have to buy voice from OCG if you wanted to have Ooma, Magic Jack, any of those type of companies. As long as you have a good quality internet company, your service will be crystal clear. And like I said, OCG does not put in filters and things to slow stuff down or make other providers' applications not work, because the way we want our service to be out there is to provide internet to everyone.
I just got a text message from somebody in my community here who wants to know if you throttle service.
No. What we basically do, and that's an excellent question for whoever sent it over there. What OCG does is OCG drops off a gigabit connection to everyone's home or small business. What we do is basically the plan that you decide to pay for, whether it's a 200 meg or a 500 meg or a gig, that's what you're saying that you're going to stay within. So if you have a 200 meg service from us and you continuously go over the 200 megs, then we'll notify you and say, hey, you're going over the 200 megs more than a certain amount of times per month. You either need to get the bigger package or you need to just cut down on what you're doing. Now, the idea behind that is nobody is going to be, as they call it, hitting the ceiling on their internet and then getting packet loss and other issues. So if you're on the phone and you hear someone else that's going back, or you hear strange tones, that's because you're getting what's called packet loss. You don't have enough throughput to make your video or your call work. So what OCG does is we connect it that way, and then we also monitor it. And as long as you stay with whatever package you're paying on, you're great. But should the time come, like let's say you have a party, 4th of July, things like this, you bring people over, you say, hey, use our internet. I mean, that's a burst for that particular day. Won't even affect, your bill, but at the same time, you're able to support everyone and all their Wi-Fi usage that they want to do and not have the restrictions. And I mean, just to give you an example, what I'll do here.
Yeah,
I'm going to.
Brad, when you have a minute, I do have 2 questions that were submitted in our chat that we can go over.
Sure, go ahead, Jacob.
Okay, so Ermelindo says, I am in the telecom sector. Companies like yours are starting to become the norm, and kudos. Can you lay out to consumers why go with companies like yours versus Optimum or FiOS?
Well, let's put it this way. There's 2 main reasons. One is, of course, the price, because everyone's looking at the price nowadays with the cost of gas and everything else. And second is once you connect to our service, you never want to go anywhere. My company right now, we have less than 0.5% of churn of customers across our network. People, once they connect to us, they use us, they forget about us because it always works. But that is a very good question. Between the price and the quality of service, you'll see for yourself. So just what I wanted to do here is
yeah, and Jason, I also see your question in the chat. We'll get to that as soon as we can.
So just to give you a little example here, I just opened up on our network this speed test. So I turn around and I end up hitting this. This is a standard type connection that people would have at their house. So we'll let this run its course, and then you can see what you're getting over this particular connection that we have.
Now, while that's working for people that are on Optimum or even Verizon, what you're looking at there is roughly about 3 times what you would max out at on the services that we collectively have around here.
And I should add that not only is the speed high, but if you notice, the ping is 0. That's in milliseconds, the amount of time it takes for a message to get from your computer to the ISP and back. It's going the speed of light. You know, fiber uses light. With Optimum on my computer right now, I'm getting 15 to 20 milliseconds ping. So that just means that like if you're doing online gaming or video streaming, it's going to be like unbelievably fast.
That's right. And the point is it's how things are built. So the way OCG's network is built is it's built for long haul type providers. It's built for high-speed connectivity, especially the transatlantic cables that come over from overseas. So the way that this network is built, it's built for speed, and it's built for what they call low latency. So like we were saying before on this particular network, the difference is, you know, when you end up having service from other different providers out there, you're getting service that goes through multiple connections, multiple switches, multiple routers, multiple splitters or amplifiers in the field. The way this works is OCG delivers what's called active Ethernet. So we bring a fiber to your house, you connect from your house back directly to one of our switches, and from that switch, it goes directly to our uplink routers, which pump the traffic from there to the internet. So in that test that you saw before, my ping was 0 because I sit on top of one of the routers that goes directly into the internet. So even if you had a ping of 1 or 2, that's fantastic compared to what you might run on your existing services today. So that's
just a quick thing. I have a question that came in. They don't understand what packet loss is. Can you explain that?
Sure. So if you have service at home that's, let's say 100 meg or 200 megabits like you see on TV all the time, that's saying that there's 200 megabits of capacity going through your connection. So a simple way to think about it is your internet connection is a set of train tracks. And then depending how many megs you're going to push across it, that's how many cars are on that train. And that train has to pass through from your house to the internet within a certain period of time for you to have that 200 megs. What packet loss means is that a lot of the times the train is not going as fast as it should, and some of those cars are being left off. So if that was, let's just say, a word that you're sending through there, if some of the letters are cut off, then they don't understand what it is on the other end, and they have to try to have it resent. So that's sort of what packet loss is. It means that the throughput you're supposed to have for what you're putting through there is not big enough to carry what you're sending through.
Yeah. In practice, if you have any experience with cable providers on Long Island like Optimum, the way you would see that is if you're watching a YouTube video and you see the buffering thing come up and it's just like spinning, you know, it's waiting, or if there's like a pixelation on your TV, you know, that's all due to packet loss. Because I know those are the most common problems.
Yes, plus OCG's network is 100% fiber optic, so we're delivering it to your house on fiber versus coax. Because coax has a lot of different challenges between interference from power lines, interference from other things, whereas fiber, once it's spliced through to your home, it's pretty reliable.
Great.
Think of it as coax as old technology, fiber as new technology.
Right. Now, I have a couple of other questions here I'd like to go over. Jason asks, I was curious if the installation covers underground lines. Most, if not all, lines in my town are underground.
So that's a very good question. What OCG does is, like I was showing before in that presentation, showing all the people who are interested in our service, if that's in an area where it's underground and we have enough people interested, then OCG will come in and basically trench the entire community, put in its handholds, and then depending on who wants service, we would trench up to the home. That's something that if we have enough people within the community, the installation charge is still 0. Just to give you an idea, when we trench a community, we put in this type of material. So you can see right here, it has multiple little conduits in it. We trench this in, put this in, goes into a handhole, and then up to a house, we end up putting a single one, and we blow the fiber through there. So hopefully that answers the question, but it basically depends on how much demand there is in that area. If there's one customer, it's
a related question to that. Say a person has an existing aperture for service to come in. Do you guys use that same hole, or you guys have to drill a new hole to access into the home?
It depends. We try not to drill a bunch of holes in people's houses. We want to make the installation as effective as possible. And typically when an installer goes out, we look to see where does the customer want the service delivered, what's existing as far as a hole in the wall, because ideally that device I showed you before, the media converter, we want to try to either put it within the house where it's easily accessible, or in some instances we can install that device in the box that we put on the outside of the house and just plug in a transformer and run the little plug outside. So each installation is really something that we look at as when the installer gets there. But ideally, we're not trying to drill a bunch of holes in people's houses.
Okay. Jacob?
Let's see. Ermelindo also asks, any discount available if you sign up for a long-term commitment?
Well, presently OCG is signing people up without any type of commitment. If there's enough of people in a community and that's what they were interested in doing, or customers were interested, we'd be open to it. But right now, our price is based on a month-to-month with no contract.
That sounds like the better, more ethical option to me anyway.
It's the person the option. I mean, for the trial, what we've put out there for the trial right now, we end up having, let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, and maybe you could show a little something about the current price structure that you're looking at, so people know what they're going to be spending.
Sure. So there's two different price structures. For where we have existing fiber and we can drop right to the house, it's a flat rate on some of our flyers. For 200 megs for residential, it's $39. For 500 megs, it's $49. Yeah. That's our flyer for if you are right on our network today. If we have to build to get to you, then this is what the price is going to be. It's $10 more, but that's the cap that we've put on delivering this service. So that right there is the new type flyer that's going out.
And it's much clearer.
Okay. Much clearer. And this is what the fee is, and that's it. There is no box rental, there's no remote rental, there's no hidden, I don't know what this is fee, there's none of that stuff. And like I said, if you order just the internet, there's no tax. So that's just a benefit. If you need the voice, it's $19 a line. But like I said, most people today are using their cell phone. And this is for residential delivery in the Suffolk County area. This is what this is. Businesses, it's a little bit more because of the demands and needs for the business. But for the home, this is a flat rate. No hidden fee, no secret charges. And
it's probably also worth pointing out to everybody that's listening that it is possible that you can use your cell phone on Wi-Fi. So if Wi-Fi is being broadcast by OCG, you're still going to have better use of your phone than you would if you were just over the air. So you can run incoming and outgoing phone calls through your Wi-Fi.
And you can save on any kind of data or usage charges. That's how your phone service is set up.
Right.
Now you were saying that to the gentleman who asked about having it in the ground up to his house, you were saying if the interest was enough in his area, what kind of interest would you have to have in order to make it possible?
So it really depends on the community. If it was a cul-de-sac, let's say, that had 10 homes, if we get 5 of them, that usually is enough to justify it. Because primarily we end up subbing this type of work out to the contractors that we use who specialize in digging. Those are the guys that can missile and drill underneath people's lawns and not make one blade of grass move, because that's what we want to do, not tear everything up. So it really is the cost of installing it. And like I said, I have a number of different really good contractors that I use. So if there's enough demand that way, it makes sense for us to build it. But
yeah.
And we want to build that cul-de-sac once.
And we should add, if you or anyone you know has experience as a wireline technician or with network engineering, I'm sure, Brad would could use all the help he can
Love
get.
To meet you.
Yeah, we're hiring. We're looking for people for Long Island for this deployment we're doing. Like I said, first it's dropping off of our existing, but at the same time we are looking at this feedback that we've received from the people going to our website. Thank you, FIC, for steering people our way. And depending on how we get those responses, we've been starting to do the aerial engineering and then put together the pole application packages, which then we submit for permission to go onto the poles. So understand that when we end up putting together this information, which includes measuring the pole and measuring where everyone is and all this information we have to compile, then when we put this into the phone company and the power company, it has to go through their system to get approved. So as some are being submitted to be approved, others are being figured out on our side to be put in later, but we put it in and then we're sort of waiting for that to go through their system. And then the same with the town permits that we put in that we've been waiting on. In some instances or some areas, we need to put a pedestal-type cabinet on the public right-of-way somewhere. Or in some instances, we've talked to landowners who've given us an easement to put pedestal on their private property, which has been great. And then that pedestal will supply the internet and services to everyone locally. So the idea of that is by having the connection from the homes going to a particular cabinet, let's just say, into our switches. From there, it's going high-speed uplink to the rest of our network instead of having to travel a large distance before it gets to what cable T would call a head end, or we would call a pop. But those are the things we're working on. So there is a process for us to use the poles and the public right-of-way and things, and that does take some time. So focusing on what we have already built, who's close to it that we can drop the cable to day one, that's instantaneous service we can give to people. And then based on demand, we can see which way we want to be expanding or building. And like I've said a number of times, both talking with you guys and talking with the councilmen who have been very helpful from Brookhaven, the idea is that if OCG comes out there and is bringing a good high quality service, if that motivates the other providers, Verizon, the cable TV company, whoever it is, to either step up their game or to deliver services or put a better service out there, then if everyone gets internet, everyone's winning. It doesn't have to be just OCG. But the point is that we're looking to provide internet where there is no internet and there's nothing happening. Because friends and family of mine who live out in Ronkonkoma area or out in Fort Jeff area, if I stop by their house and use my laptop to send a couple emails, I see it in the outbox doing this. What is this? It's an email. It's ridiculous. So once we put our service in, which some of my friends and family have OCG in their house, they just don't look back. And that's really what I'd like to bring to everyone, to have good quality internet, because there's nothing like having a great internet connection in your house for everything. Whether it's you're trying to, I'll give you a quick example. One of our contractors lives in Ridge. We turn around and since he's right in front of our cable on the pole, we dropped internet service to his house. His wife is all happy because she can go on the website to book the campsites for the summer out east for their trailer, and it doesn't time out on her, and she can do it so quick that she always gets the spot she wants. So, that kind of stuff makes people happy. If your wife wants to click on buying everything, that's your problem. But in general, it just makes everything work a lot better.
Right. I have a question here. Someone asked, I have worked in signing communities up to bulk agreements. Can a complex or community get a bulk discount? I guess you got like a couple hundred signups.
Sure, we're always open to that. That person can reach out to me on our website. Be more than happy to talk to them. If we come in and we can do an entire complex, that changes the dynamics of the cost structure.
Right, and I think I know who this individual is, so I'll make sure to reach out to them and get you connected.
Not only do we deliver services to people's homes, if there is a complex or a community, we can also talk to them about installing APs throughout their community so that there's Wi-Fi in the public spaces for the community members. In your pool area, in your park, in the hallways in the community center. We do that in Manhattan. We're doing Hudson Yards, a number of other places. We work with a couple of other really good Wi-Fi or AP type Wi-Fi companies like Slice Wireless. They're doing airports everywhere. They're putting in. So that's one of our other specialties, is putting that in a public area besides just delivering to your house.
Right, and so something I should mention, just to kind of go back to what I was talking about earlier with the things that we've been working on here at FIC. I forgot to mention that myself, Frank, and Brad all made an appearance about a month or so ago at Brookhaven Town headquarters. They had a work session, and we were invited by Councilman Kevin Laval to make an appearance there and speak about this issue that affects everyone in this area. So Frank and I did a brief presentation about the current issues with broadband competition and showed where, what people are asking for. And then Brad, was able to show everyone in Brookhaven town, Supervisor Ed Romaine was there, the entire town council, and he was able to show them, this is real competition. It's not Verizon. It's not supporting the duopoly. It's bringing real fiber competition to Long Island for the first time. And they seemed very excited and interested in supporting that, which is good.
So another question just popped up on my text, asking the all-important question, what's the timeline to completion? When can we do this? Which I'm guessing that's probably what's on everybody's mind anyway.
Sure. Well, we're delivering service now to whatever is close to our existing facilities because we can do that today. And then based on the response that we're getting from the website, we're basically figuring where we're building next. So right now it's going to be on or very close to the existing network that's on the map. I wish I could speed it up and build out everyone's houses everywhere. But between the poll applications and requests I need to do and waiting for some permits from the town and these type of things, it's nothing that can be done yesterday. But if a community is seriously interested in it, and there's enough people from that community, whether it's the person, Jacob, that reached out to you that says he can do bulk things, or if there's other people out there listening to this who are interested in helping OCG by going to communities and trying to sign up a bunch of people, that will make it cost effective for us to expedite things. Because reality is, and everyone knows, is that it costs money to build this, and you're not making money yesterday. It's something that over time you make your money, but also keep maintain this and deliver more and more service to everyone. So to the person who sent that text, I feel for you. I'd love to be able to bring it to your house tomorrow, but unless you're close to us, we can't tell now unless the way the feedback is. Like, for example, Rocky Point. Someone from Rocky Point saw FIC, spoke to everyone in their community, and literally overnight there was 200 and something different requests for that area. That makes that area as one of the places that we put into engineering for now. So if there's demand in your area, and there's enough people there, we can try to prioritize it or to expedite things as quickly as we can. But
and so to the people that are listening over my phone and or by text in my community, the best answer that I can give you right now is the minute that I have it, you'll have it because you all live within just a few blocks of me. So just stay tuned. You know where we are. You know where to find us online now.
And I think this is a good time to bring this is our call to action. Everyone who's viewing this, everyone who's interested in having something else, another option for the first time, this can really happen. But we really need your help to get we just flood Brad with as many emails as you can. If you have the link, you go on their website, just fill out your name and address and let them know that you're interested. Get your friends to sign up, your family, put it on your social media, blast the sign up link everywhere you can think of.
Brad, put your email in the
Yeah, I'm actually gonna put that in the chat for the YouTube here. Email Brad. Brad at ocgfiber.com, right?
Sure. And to the other person earlier who had said, what about my community, that everything's underground? Understand that when it comes to underground, depending on the community, if it's a private housing condo development and they own the land, then I just need to get a right-of-way agreement with them and I can start work tomorrow to trench and build the fiber. If it's something that's involving public right-of-way, or if I need to go on the poles and things, I have to apply for permits or request for attachments to poles, which takes time and is not the quickest thing. That's why we put in multiple and let them sit, let them stew, and then as they start coming out, we can build on them. And after time, you just have a rollout of continuing pole applications that are approved. But if your community is a private community, or even if it's public roads, it's easier sometimes for me to put a permit in let's say town of Brookhaven, and say, I'm looking to put this cabling along the grass on the side of the road in this complex. A lot of times I can get that pushed through quicker than it is for a pole application. But if it's a private community and they own the actual land and the roads, I just need to have a right-of-way agreement. My contractor comes in, marks out, puts the stuff in, and that's that. So it's depends on the.
Okay, and how many pedestals are required for say for X number of houses? Is it one pedestal per 100, or how does that work?
If we were going to feed a community of, let's say, 100 plus homes, we would want to try to put a cabinet somewhere, whether it's outside of the property or on the edge or in the bushes in the front of the main complex. But everything else, there are no pedestal, nothing sticking out of the ground. What we would have is every few houses a little handhold, which is probably 12-inch by 16, that this particular interduct type mini duct goes into, and from that one goes to each house. So nothing sticking out of the ground, no ugly stuff in front of your house. Everything's underground, pushed through with the fiber. And just so you know, when we install this, the tube that goes to your house gets connected together with a little coupling inside the handhold, and we basically blow the fiber from the main spot up to your house. That's it. Done.
That's really impressive. And the other thing I would like to say everyone can do to help us out is Brad has put in a lot of permits with Brookhaven Town, and I know he's waiting on a lot of those. So if you want to try to, rustle some feathers, go and send an email to, your Brookhaven Town council person, Brookhaven Town supervisor. Let them know, I want this service. I want to drop Optimum. I want to get OCG fiber. Help them out. Let's get those permits passed.
You want to give them a choice, basically. And when we had that meeting with the councilman, all the councilmen were saying people in their area are really, looking for it. It's not like the councilmen don't hear everyone. But at the same time, if you're in a community where your internet is that bad and everyone is really unhappy what you have and they need some kind of relief, reach out to your councilman, because I made it clear to them, if you have something within your area that's close to my network, I'll be more than happy to expedite something to help out your constituents that can't work from home because of COVID or their office closed. A lot of my business and one of the reasons that we're pushing to this residential is, besides people not having good internet, is a lot of the offices that we used to service in Manhattan have downsized. They've told their employees, stay home, work from home, or they're trying to find new employees that will work from home. How can you work from home if your internet doesn't work? That's really what the point is. How are you going to do your job? How are you going to pay your bills? Internet's become more and more of a bigger importance in our lives than it has been in the past, and you need it for everything, for your doorbell, for all the new things that are coming out there. So like I said, the council people are aware, they've heard everyone, they know, they're trying to see what they can do. But like I said, if there's any community that's really in bad shape, that's close enough to my network, talk to your councilman. If I can, help by expediting something to that community, I'll be more than happy to.
And I have one, I guess we can wrap it up with one final question. This is more of a question, personally for you, Brad. What led you to start the company? What led you to want to accomplish this for Long Island?
Well, funny enough, I started in telecom when I was 13. My dad was a tool and die maker, and he used to show me how to make different keys and things, and I was interested in how the payphone works. I was interested in how then the communication system works. I worked for the phone company when it was New York Tel as a cable splicer, and I just loved the technology and the history and the quality of building something that's made to last. So I really got into this after being a contractor and building networks for everyone, MCI, AT&T, WorldCom, Verizon, all the guys that are out there, work around zero to restore services, that I like to bring the service out and to have the services available. It's just something I found very interesting in my career. And the technology is always changing, so there's always a challenge. And as all this network that you've seen out there, myself with my crews have physically built it. I went out there and spliced almost everything you see and was out there with everything getting placed. So I love to make sure that it's built and it works right.
Excellent.
All right, so we are running short on time. Frank, did you have anything you wanted to?
The only other thing that I wanted to bring up is that to the extent that we have folks that are listening or watching or what have you that happen to be within the town of Brookhaven. Just to piggyback on what Jacob said a few minutes ago, the most important thing you can do right now is keep calling the law department. The law department within the town of Brookhaven, they seem to be the sticking point for getting what we need in this town. I've started making phone calls, but I'm just one man. I can be a pest when I need to be, but I need more people to pester over there, so that we can make them understand that we are their constituents, and if they want to keep things moving along, we need them to keep things moving along with us. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably post on our website and our social media the names, telephone numbers over at the law department. Feel free to call them as often as you want. Personally, I recommend 2 or 3 times a day. Between us, we can all make that happen. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that we also, I don't think anybody mentioned it, but it's worth mentioning with the state of New York, is, between Governor Hochul and a bunch of other senators and assembly folks, both up and down state, the state of New York has put together quite a few new bills, and some of which have even been signed into law. I would urge everybody to go online to the state of New York and read those over, because it will give you an impression or an idea of exactly what rights you either have now or are about to have. For example, just one real quick is that they're talking right now about making it a requirement to do kind of like a nutrition label for internet. In other words, a little panel type thing that says, here's what you're getting, here's what you're paying, so everything is spelled out for you in a very, very clear, very small, little tiny thing that you can look at and say, okay, here's what it is, and now I can compare my apples to other apples over here, and see if I'm getting a decent deal or if I'm really not. The other thing that I would urge everybody to do is take a look at your bill. If you have Verizon, if you have Optimum, if you have Spectrum, if you have Comcast, pick one. You're going to see a whole bunch of charges on there that you have no idea what they are or why they apply to your bill. For the most part, the answer is either because the company you're dealing with is greedy, or because there's some kind of law or tax that's required. To the extent that you see that, that's when you're going to want to say, I've had enough, and you're going to want to migrate to the new way of doing, which is streaming and using a basic internet provider to drive service into your house. Right. And I can see by the clock on the wall over there that we are truly running low on time.
Yep.
So with that, I will thank everybody who showed up today or this evening.
And thank you, Brad, for speaking here and telling everyone about this. And
I would also like to let everybody know that for those people that have questions or concerns about going full streaming, we are in the process of putting together some classes that we will be teaching and or putting up on the internet that will explain exactly how, when, and why you should change from whatever it is you're doing now over to something that allows you to stream and gives you more options. So with that, without objection, we'll conclude the meeting here and move into executive session.
And don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends and family so they can learn everything that you just learned today. And subscribe so you don't miss any of our future live streams.
And have to sign up on our website so
yes.
you know that
yes, and please sign up on OCG's website. I put it in the chat of this meeting and live stream, and it's also in the description of the video. But if you can't find it, send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, email, and we'll make sure to get you the information. All right.
Okay, let's end the
All right.
here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, so you guys can stick around.